So you turn on your kitchen faucet, and instead of a nice strong stream, you get this sad little trickle that barely fills a glass. Maybe it's the bathroom sink. Maybe it's just the hot side. Either way, it's driving you crazy, and you're already wondering how much a plumber is going to charge you to fix it. Well, before you pick up the phone, let me save you some serious money. I'm going to walk you through the 5 hidden causes of low water pressure in any faucet. And I mean the real causes that 99% of people completely overlook. These are the same things I check on every single service call. And 9 times out of 10, the fix takes less than 20 minutes. Plus, if you stick around to the end, I'll show you a quick flushing trick that clears out buildup in your supply lines and can restore full pressure in under 5 minutes. Let's get into it. Here's the thing about low water pressure at a single faucet. Most people immediately assume it's a whole house problem, or they think something is wrong with their well pump or their municipal supply. But if the pressure is low at just one faucet, or even just one side of one faucet, the problem is almost always local. It's something right there at that fixture, and it's usually a pretty simple fix once you know where to look. So let's start with the most common cause, and honestly, the one that catches the most people off guard. The first thing I want you to check is the aerator. That's the little screen tip that screws onto the end of your faucet spout. Every faucet has one, and its job is to mix air into the water stream so it flows smoothly and doesn't splash everywhere. The problem is, over time, that little screen collects mineral deposits, tiny bits of sediment, and debris that break loose from inside your pipes. And when that screen gets clogged, even partially, your water pressure drops like a rock. I can't tell you how many service calls I've been on where the homeowner thought they needed a whole new faucet, and all it took was 5 minutes cleaning the aerator. So here's what you do. Look at the tip of your faucet spout, and you'll see a small round piece, usually chrome or brushed nickel, that's threaded on. Wrap a rag around it to protect the finish, then use a pair of channel lock pliers to unscrew it. Lefty-loosey, just like normal. If it's really stuck, try running hot water over it. For 30 seconds to loosen up the mineral buildup, then try again. Once you get it off, you'll see the screen inside. Hold it up to the light. If it looks crusty, green, white, or brown, that's your problem right there. Drop it in a cup of plain white vinegar and let it soak for about 30 minutes. Then use an old toothbrush to scrub off whatever's left. Rinse it, screw it back on hand tight, and turn on the faucet. I'd bet good money your pressure is back. One thing I'll mention, if the aerator is really far gone and the screen is falling apart, just replace it. They cost about $2 to $4 at any hardware store. Bring the old one with you so you get the right thread size. Most kitchen faucets use a 15/16" male thread or a 55/64" inch female thread. But honestly, just bring the old one and match it up. It's the easiest $2 fix in all of plumbing. Now, if cleaning the aerator didn't solve it, the next place to look is the supply valves underneath the sink. These are the shutoff valves, usually called angle stops, that connect your home's water supply to the faucet above. You'll find them on the wall or the floor right below the sink. There's typically one for hot and one for cold. Here's what happens. Sometimes these valves get bumped, maybe when someone stored something under the sink or moved things around, and they end up partially closed without anyone realizing it. Other times, and this is the sneaky one, the valve itself is old and the rubber washer inside has started to deteriorate. When that rubber breaks down, little pieces of it can actually block the flow path inside the valve, restricting your water even when the handle looks fully open. So reach under the sink and find both valves. Turn each one fully counterclockwise to make sure they're completely open. Give each one a good firm twist. If a valve feels stuck or won't turn at all, don't force it. That usually means it's corroded and you might need to replace it, which is a separate job. But in a lot of cases, just opening a partially closed valve all the way solves the whole problem instantly. If the valves look old, if they're that older gate valve style with the round handle, I'd strongly recommend upgrading to quarter-turn ball valves. They're far more reliable, they don't corrode shut the way gate valves do, and they give you full flow with just a quarter turn of the handle. That's an upgrade that'll serve you for decades. Quick thing before we move on. I have spent 35 years learning these fixes the hard way, and I put the best of what I know into a book called 50 Easy Plumbing Fixes. 122 pages of step-by-step repairs with 17 diagrams that can save you thousands. Scan the QR code on screen or hit the link in the description if you want the full guide. Now back to the fix. The third hidden cause is something most people never even think to check, and that's the supply lines themselves. These are the flexible hoses, or sometimes rigid chrome tubes, that connect the shut-off valves to the faucet above. Take a flashlight, get under the sink, and look at those lines carefully. If you have the braided stainless steel flex lines, which are the most common type these days, check for any kinks or sharp bends. These lines are flexible, but they have a minimum bend radius, and if one gets kinked hard enough, it can choke off the flow almost completely from the inside, even though it looks fine from the outside. Straighten out any sharp bends and see if that helps. Now, if you've got the older rigid chrome supply tubes, those can actually collect sediment and mineral buildup on the inside walls over the years, especially in areas with hard water. The interior diameter of those tubes is only about 3/8 of an inch to begin with, so it doesn't take much buildup to seriously restrict flow. Here's how to test it. Turn off the shutoff valve, put a bucket underneath, and disconnect the supply line from the faucet connection up top. Then aim the line into the bucket and open the valve briefly. If water comes blasting out with strong pressure, your supply line is fine, and the problem is higher up in the faucet itself. If the flow is weak, even from the disconnected line, you've found your culprit. Replace those supply lines. A good pair of braided stainless steel supply lines will run you about $8 to $12. They take about 10 minutes to install, and they'll last you 20 years or more. I keep extras in my truck because I replace them that often on service calls. All right, because number 4 is the one that takes a little more effort, but it's incredibly common, especially on faucets that are 5 years old or more. I'm talking about the cartridge or valve inside the faucet body itself. Every faucet has an internal cartridge or valve assembly that controls the flow and temperature of your water. Over time, these cartridges accumulate mineral deposits and sediment inside them, and the internal passages get restricted. The result is low pressure, and sometimes it's only on one side, hot or cold, which is a dead giveaway that the cartridge is the issue. To check this, you'll need to pull the cartridge out. Start by turning off both supply valves under the sink. Open the faucet to release any remaining pressure. Then remove the handle. On most single-handle faucets, there's a small set screw hidden under a decorative cap on the front or side of the handle. Pop that cap off with a flathead screwdriver, then use a 1/8" hex wrench to remove the set screw. The handle should lift right off. From there, you'll usually see a retaining nut or bonnet nut. Use an adjustable wrench or channel locks to unscrew that, and the cartridge will either pull straight out or twist out, depending on the brand. Once you've got the cartridge in your hand, look at it closely. If you see buildup, discoloration, or crusty deposits in the ports and passages, soak it in white vinegar for an hour, then clean it with a small brush. If the cartridge looks worn, cracked, or the rubber seals are flattened, just replace it. Replacement cartridges run anywhere from $12 to $35 depending on the brand. Take the old one to the hardware store to get an exact match, or look for the model number printed on the cartridge itself. While you've got the cartridge out, shine a flashlight down into the faucet body. If you see sediment or debris sitting in there, Flush it out by briefly turning on the supply valves with a towel over the opening to catch any spray. That clears out anything that was trapped behind the cartridge. Reassemble everything in reverse order, and you should notice a dramatic difference in pressure. Now here's cause number 5, and this one only applies if the low pressure is specifically on the hot water side. If your cold water runs strong but your hot water is weak, at one faucet or multiple faucets, the problem might actually be at your water heater. Over the years, sediment settles to the bottom of your water heater tank. That's normal. But what a lot of people don't realize is that sediment can also accumulate at the outlet port at the top of the tank, partially blocking the hot water flow to your entire house. On top of that, if your water heater has a heat trap nipple, which most modern heaters do, those can get clogged with debris as well. The fix here starts with flushing your water heater, which honestly is something you should be doing at least once a year. Anyway, turn off the gas or flip the breaker for an electric heater. Hook a garden hose to the drain valve at the bottom of the tank and run it to a floor drain or outside. Open the drain valve and let the tank flush until the water runs clear. This can take anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes depending on how much sediment has built up. If the water coming out looks rusty or has visible chunks, that tells you the tank was overdue for a flush. Once it runs clear, close the drain valve, let the tank refill, turn the power back on, and test your hot water pressure at the faucet. In a lot of cases, this alone brings the hot side pressure right back to where it should be. Let's go over some issues you might run into and how to deal with them. First up, if you cleaned the aerator and the pressure improved but then dropped again within a few days, that usually means there's a larger sediment problem somewhere upstream. Your supply lines or your home's pipes might be shedding debris. Consider flushing the lines and installing a whole house sediment filter, which runs about $25 to $50 and can save you from this recurring headache. Next, if you replace the cartridge and the pressure is still low, double-check that you got the right cartridge for your faucet model. A cartridge that's close but not exact can sit wrong in the body and restrict flow. The model number matters here. Third, if both hot and cold pressure are low at every faucet in the house, that's not a local problem. That points to your main shut-off valve, your pressure regulator, or an issue with your municipal supply. Locate your pressure regulator, usually a bell-shaped device on the main line near where it enters the house, and check the setting. Most homes should be set between 40 and 60 pounds per square inch. If it's set too low or the regulator has failed, that's your answer. Fourth, if the low pressure only happens at certain times of day, like mornings or evenings, you might be dealing with peak demand from your municipal system. A pressure booster pump can help if it's a persistent problem. Follow the steps we covered, and you should avoid most of these headaches. All right, here's that bonus tip I promised at the beginning. This is something I do on almost every service call where low pressure is the complaint, and it takes about 5 minutes. It's a full supply line flush, and it clears out any loose sediment or debris sitting in your pipes right at the fixture. Here's how you do it. Remove the aerator from the faucet because you don't want to catch the debris right back in the screen you just cleaned. Then turn off the hot supply valve under the sink and open just the cold side at the faucet full blast. Let it run for about 60 seconds, then switch. Close the cold valve, open the hot, and run it for another 60 seconds. What you're doing is pushing a full volume of water through each line independently, which flushes out any sediment that's settled in the supply lines or in the faucet body. You'd be surprised how much gunk comes out, especially if nobody's done this in a while. I've seen little chunks of rubber, mineral flakes, even tiny pebbles come through on older homes. Once both sides have flushed clear, screw your clean aerator back on and test the flow. In a lot of cases, this simple flush combined with a clean aerator restores the pressure to like new condition. I do this as a final step on every faucet repair, and it's one of those little habits that separates a clean job from a callback. That wraps it up. If this was useful, you will love the full book. 50 step-by-step plumbing fixes with diagrams all in one guide. Link is below. Hit subscribe so you do not miss the next video. Thanks for watching.